What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout and welcome to our How to Play Starter Kaido guide, the mono purple starter Kaido. Guys, this one is insane. If you're new to One Piece, this is the deck that you want to get. This one is just crazy. But before we begin the video, hit that like and subscribe button. We are on our way to 3,000 subs. We're trying to get there by the end of March, and then we're gonna have an awesome giveaway. If you're here for One Piece or if you're here for Dragon Ball, we're doing both games at least twice a week every week. Now, roll the video.
Card Market is Europe's largest platform for all TCGs. Always find the right cards by buying and selling them across Europe with other players and collectors. Be it singles, boosters, booster boxes, or any other accessories, you name it. Card Market is the place to get them safely, securely, and readily available.
As with all of our videos, let's start with a breakdown. So in this video, we'll be giving you a brief leader summary. We'll be talking about this RAME deck, how it works, discounts and everything. We'll talk about various interactions, lines of play, and then finally finish it with my thoughts and conclusion. Starting off with the leader, I'm making this super new player friendly because every video is someone's first video. So if you're new to the game, I'm hoping that this is helping you understand it. At the very top, 5,000, that's your leader's power. So 5k power, and then at the very bottom, you have another number 5, those are your lives. You start with 5 lives, not every leader starts with 5. Kaido starts with 5. The big circle is your leader's ability, we'll be talking about it very soon. And the one that's not important, at least for this deck, at the very bottom, you have his tribe/crew. I mean, call it how you want, I'm used to calling it tribe from Magic the Gathering. That's basically it. Let's examine the leader. Our leader's ability is activate main Dawn -7, once per turn, trash the top card of your opponent's life. So what this means is basically, you get rid of 7 Dawn. I will explain Dawn minus at a later point in the video, just please bear with me. And then once per turn, you just get to KO one of your opponent's lives. It doesn't go into their hand, you just remove it. That's it. It's an incredible ability. Detaching 7 Dawn to deal 1 uninterruptible damage is insane. What this means in reality is that if you're playing Kaido, if you ever get your opponent to 1 life and you have like 7 Dawn, they just lost immediately. They cannot afford to fall on 1 life. Which is super good, like I'm really enjoying this. On top of that, Kaido is my favorite type of archetype, and that's a ramp deck. Kaido ramps like insane. Let's see how he does this. The key card in our deck is Onigashima, and this is a stage card. In Dragon Ball terms, this is a field card. In Magic terms, this is an enchantment. In Hearthstone terms, this is a location. So what this card does is you pay its cost, you play it on the field, it doesn't interact with characters, it doesn't attack or anything, but it has an effect that you can use once per turn. And Onigashima says, activate main, you may rest this card if your leader is Kaido, or any other Animal Kingdom pirate, and then you add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck to your cost area in rest, so you're ramping 1. You absolutely need to see Onigashima turn 2. In One Piece, you get 2 Dawn per turn, so on turn 2 you get to play this. And once you play it, you're effectively getting 3 Dawn per turn, and this really impacts the cost of your cards. Let's look a bit into this cost and ramp economics. Presented here are ramp numbers. So to the left is without Onigashima and to the right is with Onigashima. We are assuming that you went first, so turn 1 you just had 1 Dawn in play. If you're playing the game without Onigashima, every turn this is the Dawn cost that you have in your cost area. So turn 1, 1, turn 2, 3 Dawn, and then if you didn't play it, then it's 5 Dawn on turn 3, 7 on 4, 9 on 5, and you're reaching 10 only on turn 6. But if you play Onigashima, you get, of course, first turn 1, second 3, and then you play Onigashima, third turn 6 Dawn, 4th turn 9 Dawn and you're reaching 10 on 5th turn. This is like 1.5 turns advantage. You're almost getting 2 whole turns of advantage depending how we're looking at this. Because like for example, on turn 4 when your opponent is on 7 Dawn, you're on 9, you're basically 1 complete turn ahead of your opponent, which is crazy. So yeah, and if you're looking at these numbers side by side, you can see that turns 3 and 4 are when you have the biggest advantage over your opponent. Because on turn 3 you're at 6, they're on 5, you can play your 6 drops, on turn 4 you're on 9 and they're just at 7. And you have some insane 9 costs, like yeah, this is great. Now let's look a bit deeper into this cost economics. Now we're looking at cost economics. So to explain terminology, cost is the printed cost of a card, drop is its modified cost, like on which turn you're playing it and stuff. So on the left without Onigashima, on the right with Onigashima. What you can see here is that your 5 cost cards are effectively your free drops. Let's go with left side first. Cost 1, turn 1. Okay, cost turn 2, cost 3 is a 2 drop, 4 and 5 are 3 drops, 6 and 7 are 4 drops, and 8 and 9 are 5 drops. This of course depends heavily on how you're getting your Dawn. But if you have Onigashima, the actual cost of cards in your hand is modified because of the RAME that you're getting. So while 1 and 2 costs are the same, your 5 and 6 are free drops, while 5 is a free drop but 6 is a 4 drop normally. Then your cost 7 and 8 are 4 drops, and 9 and 10, no, 7, 8 and 9 are 4 drops, and 10 is a 5 drop. And if you're looking to the left, 7 and 8, 7 is a 4 drop, 8 is a 5 drop, and 9 is a 5 drop. So to understand what I'm actually saying is your cost 6 card is your turn free play. It's effectively cost free. Your cost 7 card is your turn 4 play. So its effective cost is 4. While on the other side without Onigashima, your cost 7 is a 4, but 6 is a 4 as well, because you're missing the Dawn necessary to play it. Now that you understand the basics of cost economics in this deck, we need to talk about the other key factor, which is Dawn minus X. X equals a number, a printed number. So let's take this 9 cost Kaido for example. On play, Dawn minus 5, so X equals 5. What the Dawn minus X means that in order to use this ability, we need to remove X Dawn cards from the field and put them back into our Dawn deck. And in case of Kaido, X equals 5. So if we want his on play effect, we need to, after paying 9, to play him, we need to remove 5 Dawn cards. We can remove Dawn cards that aren't in active mode, because otherwise this would have been impossible. Because we ramp 3 Dawn per turn, we can afford to use this ability without the fear of falling too much behind. Now let's look at how our cost economics is impacted by Dawn minus X. Dawn minus X numbers with Onigashima in play. We're not going to be looking at this without Onigashima, because if it's without Onigashima you just basically lost. You can do Dawn minus 1 to a somewhat sustainable degree, maybe Dawn minus 2, but Dawn minus 2 already hurts too much. But if you're looking at Dawn minus 5 plus 6, 7, you just lost the game if you don't have Onigashima. But what I'm talking about is this. Onigashima gives us plus 1 Dawn, so we're netting 1 Dawn every turn. We're getting 3 instead of 2, so 2 plus 1 from Onigashima. Very important. So if you're looking at the Dawn minus X gain and loss, Dawn minus 1 is basically free. This is free because the only Dawn that we are paying is the one that we are getting from Onigashima. We're still keeping our 2 regular ones. This is the best scenario. Dawn minus 1 is amazing because we're still plussing 2 Dawn. At Dawn minus 2, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we are paying the one from Onigashima and the other one. It's basically as if we only got the one from Onigashima. but we're still plussing, so it's not bad. At Dawn -3, this is +0. This is as if we didn't get a single Dawn card this turn. We get the effect, but we're not getting any ramp at all. And going downwards is just... Dawn -4, you are negging, you're losing 1 Dawn. At 5, you're losing 2. And at 6, you're losing a whopping 3 Dawn. At 6 is as if you just lost a full turn of ramp. That's it. It is literally 1 full turn behind. Because you're paying the 3 and then you gain, and then the 3 that you had, and then you need to spend like 1 turn just getting back the 3 that you had originally, and then on the other turn you're basically +0ing. You're at your starting point. So -6, when you're using -5 or higher, you better be winning the game at that point. Now that we finally went over all of those numbers, we can look at some cards. These are our Dawn -1 cards. They're amazing because due to Onigashima, we can basically cheat them out earlier, and then we can just sacrifice the 1 Dawn that we got from Onigashima. So these are just pure profits for us. They are usually, we have some blockers, we have some removal here. They're very versatile, and the majority of them that we are playing are Dawn -1 cards. The Dawn -2 and Dawn -3 are either, some tech pieces, strong removal, strong effects, or they're just basically our game enders. When it comes to Dawn -2 cards, we have 2 options, King and Kaido. Kaido isn't the best, but King is great. King is amazing. For Dawn -2, for cost 7 and Dawn -2, you get to KO 2 characters, one costing 3 or less and another one costing 2 or less, which is very helpful if your opponent has, let's say, small blockers and he has like 2 of them, you just remove them. That's a great card. And finally we have our cost Dawn -5, -6 cards, and these are game winners. These are our finishers. At the highest Dawn -X cost we have our boss monsters. These are just insane. The 10 drop just clears everything. The 9 drop removes something and then gets to attack immediately. You're winning the game when you're playing these ones. The only problem is that if for some reason you don't win the game when you play these cards, you're gonna have a pretty hard time, so you need to play them very carefully. We just went over a lot of information, and now we're going to be taking a look at various card choices for Kaido. We don't have a deck list, we're waiting for our friends over at Deck Planet to launch their One Piece website, then we'll be giving you more deck profiles. But for now, if you're liking what you're seeing, please hit that like and subscribe button. That's the best way to let me know that you're enjoying this content. And if there are any how to play guides for One Piece that you would like to see, leave them in the comments below. Now let's talk about card choices. We will start with blockers. So these are our 4 options for blockers. Let's just briefly go over each of them and explain why we're playing them. We are playing a playset of Kurozumi and Black Maria 2 drops. So Kurozumi is awesome because this is a 3k blocker, while Black Maria is just 2k, but there's also an argument that can be made for the 4 cost Black Maria, which is 5k, and that is when you're playing some matchups, let's say against Red, the 2 cost blockers can get removed. There are ways to remove them, but because this is a 5k 4 cost, there are less cards that are hitting a 4 cost 5k blocker. So that's your option basically, but usually decks just run 2 playsets of the 2 drops and that's it for the blockers. Well, that's not really it for the blockers. We have one more, and this one is amazing. This one is phenomenal in the deck, and that is Queen. Queen is an insane blocker that we can play on turn 3 onwards because of Onigashima. It's a 6k blocker and the on play ability is great. So on play Dawn -1, we get to draw 2 cards and we get to discard 1. This helps us dig for our big cards in the mid game, and it also helps us trash some unimportant cards. Let's say because we're running a playset of Onigashima, Onigashima is basically useless in our hand. So we draw 2 and we just trash the Onigashima. Being a 5 cost, Queen is already a blocker that dodges a fair amount of removal, and 6k is a lot of power. So this one is amazing. For our counters, we are running some combination of Sasaki, X-Drake and Ulti. For those of you who know what counters are, these are our 2k counters and all of them have decent effects. For those of you who don't know what counters are, well, we'll explain them right now. This is how counters work. Almost all cards have a counter value on the left side of the card. I have circled it here. Counters are used in defense step when a card is being attacked before damage calculation is resolved. In order to counter, you discard cards with counter value and then you add their counter value to the original power of the defending card. Basically, because this is mostly a Dragon Ball channel, if you're a Dragon Ball player, counters are basically combos. Here is a very brief presentation of how this works. Let's say we are attacked by a 7k Doflamingo and our opponent is targeting Kaido, our leader. Our leader has only 5k power. If the attack goes through, we're taking damage. So in the defense step, Doflamingo is only 7k. So what we're doing is we are comboing with, let's say, Sasaki and X-Drake. That's like plus 4k power. The attack resolves and then we're looking at the numbers. Because 7000 is 2000 points less than 9000, the attack has basically failed, we're not taking any damage. We have some event cards. I'm going to mention Blessed Breath and Thunder Bagua, because these two are insane. Like Blessed Breath, you pay 1, activate Dawn -1, and then you get plus 4k combo power. This is basically as if you just comboed with 2k combo power cards, just for 1. And Dawn -1, Dawn -1 is nothing in this deck. This is just insane. You're defending yourself extremely easily. And Thunder Bagua is a pretty similar card, but it also ramps you, which is cool. If you're in 2 life, it ramps you and it gets you plus 4k combo power. Amazing cards. Lastly, we have our Game Enders, and these 2 Kaidos are crazy. The 9 cost one is a 10k power. On play, Dawn -5, you get to KO something, so you just remove a blocker if they have it, and then you get to attack immediately. So immediately swinging for 10k, without any blocker on the field, your opponent is taking that 10k damage. So basically, if you play this guy, you're almost guaranteed to deal 1 damage. The other Kaido is just crazy. So for 1 Dawn more, 10 cost 12k. This one doesn't get to attack immediately, but Dawn -6 KOs everything. He just KOs everything. He's the only card on the field. So for -6, you remove everything. When he swings next turn, he's just 12k. Amazing card. Your opponent needs to rebuild their board and you're just like, okay, free Dawn the next turn. No problem. Let's go. Amazing finishers. Before we finish the video, I just want to mention that you have more ramp options in Jack, Basil Hawkins and another promo Kaido 8-drop. This 8-drops looks phenomenal. So this is just if you want to build your deck in a bit of a different way, if you want a bit more ramp to get to 10 even faster, and if you want some more recovery, because like this 8-drop just brings you Dawn at the start of your turn, and you have like Onigashima and now you have like 4 Dawn. This allows you to ramp into your 9 and 10 drops faster, and when you use Dawn minus with them, you don't pay as much, because if you have the 8-drop out, then you're getting basically 4 Dawn, which is great. So it's just an option. If you want to play a more ramp heavy Kaido deck, you can use these cards. Let's conclude the video with a summary. Kaido is a phenomenal ramp deck with huge payoffs. Like, this is my style of gameplay. Just ramp, and then get gigantic payoffs. There is a fair amount of customization here. Like I showed you some ramp options. You can choose to either build a traditional Kaido deck, or you can add more ramp pieces to make, a more stable Dawn recovery, to get to your big guys faster. There are a lot of options that you can take. You know, like you can either go like traditional or you can go like full ramp heavy. There is customization here. The negative is that missing Onigashima turn 2 play really hurts the deck, and every turn that passes without Onigashima is even harder. So you need to get Onigashima, otherwise it's pretty bad, otherwise it just falls flat. If you're looking to try one piece card game and you don't know where to start with Kaido. You just go and get the starter deck. Kaido is one of the best decks in the game. You cannot go wrong with this deck. It's amazing. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below. Will you be giving Kaido a try? Are you excited to try out this deck? Are you maybe already playing Kaido? Are you playing One Piece at all? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. If there are some other decks that you would like to see a how to play guide, let me know and I'll try to do them. Guys, while you're still here, hit that like and subscribe button and please help us get to our goal of 3,000 subs by the end of March. This has been Damien from The Lookout and I'll see all of you in the next video.